party like it's 1769. I whenever I wear this shirt, people for whatever reason, people always love it. It's for a beer called Kate the Great. And I happened to be at a brewery in Portsmouth, New Hampshire when it launched. And maybe they make it once a year or something like that. And I bought a few of these shirts but I did not. I don't normally wear clothes to get compliments. And for whatever reason, people really, really like this one. That's funny. I just realized as I was looking at myself in the video, I was like, oh, that's a perfect subject line. We could even have a whole live stream called Party Like It's 1769.
Yeah. That would work.
Speaking of getting distracted.
Partying and getting distracted, yes.
Well, entrepreneurial decisions. So I'm very curious what the entrepreneurial decisions are because I don't know what they are.
Well, it's funny because this weekend I was doing some rereading and going through my strategic coach stuff, and I came across a great book and audio series from Dan Sullivan called "How the Best Get Better."
Oh, I have that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's awesome. It's a series as well as and so I was just going through it for to update the sales letter and systems that we're putting in place for our new gig there. And I came across this and I thought, wow, this would be a great thing for us to chat about and also to get other people's thinking on it, because he has that's directly from Dan Sullivan. And so I've got my own take on it, but I'd like to just read the two decisions that he's identified, if that's all right with you.
I would love to, but before you do, I want to point something out.
Yeah.
I've read that book and I've listened to the audio. And I was in strategic coach for several years.
Right.
And one of the things that I was going to discuss on a live stream soon, maybe today, maybe not, was this idea of sometimes you have to hear something a whole bunch of different ways before it really sinks in, or a whole bunch of times, or even from a different source, or just a different time in your life. And
right.
and this is a great example of that. Just as an entrepreneur, and thinking about the resources that you have available to you. Like, I have that book on my shelf. I know the answer to that question, but I don't know the two questions. Like, I don't know it, right?
Right.
I've heard it. I've listened to it. I've probably been to a workshop about it.
And I'm sure you've got your own take on them. So yeah, that's I had the same experience going through this because it was like I hadn't seen it at all, yet I knew all the material in it, right? It was just, it's not a very thick book or a heavy read, and the audios are easy to go through, and but it was like profound. It struck me the same way. It just struck me in a different way now than it did, when I went through it in, 2008, something like that.
Cool. Well, let's do a refresher.
Cool. All right. So the first decision is the first decision is to depend entirely on their own abilities for economic security. And the second entrepreneurial decision is to expect opportunity in life only after creating value for others. And it's very interesting because he ties this into that future-based individuals achieve freedom from dependency. In other words, non-entrepreneurial thinkers think the world owes them something. Think that, and until they get out of that, they free themselves from that feelings of entitlement. And he goes on to say, the attitude of entitlement says, I'm owed something by society, by government, by the company, by my family. This attitude imprisons the individual in a lifetime of unfulfilled expectations, grievances, and self-pity. And then he has a cool little, graphic design here that kind of like illustrates what he's talking about. But the you know, he talks about like entrepreneurs in general being future-based individuals and achieve freedom from dependency, and that ties directly into being responsible for your own economic well-being, and also not not wanting anything that you haven't earned, that you haven't created value in the world in some way, shape, or form, because that's short-lived, and that does, in my experience, at least personal experience, leads down the road of like, I deserve this, I'm owed this, like, and that doesn't last long.
No. Well, I mean, for a lot of people, they feel that way their whole life, but they're miserable and feel like the world is an unfair, unsafe, horrible, terrible place where there's, all these evil people who are out to hurt them.
Right.
Right. It's kind of like, sorry, that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, and like whatever you're looking for, you're going to find.
Right.
So if you're going out gathering evidence to support that the world owes you something, and it's always from the standpoint of that you don't have what you feel that you're owed, that you've been cheated or slighted in some way, shape, or form. And, from there, it's just that downward spiral, man.
I know. And I have such a hard time keeping my mouth shut when I'm around people like that and they start yapping. It drives me bananas. Like, and with that said, I want to point out that we all do this in some way, shape, or form on a regular basis. It's more of a spectrum. Is it that the entire world that you're living in, and is that how you make all your decisions? That how you look at everything, or which side do you fall on?
Right.
That's very interesting.
Well, and it ties directly into something that I've been thinking about quite a bit lately, which is, the real decision or the courage that it takes to live from your vision versus making decisions out of the fear of what is right now in your present circumstances, your present situation.
Right.
And it really is the same. It's the same subject, just addressed from a different standpoint, right? Because when you get stuck in that entitlement, or you also think that the world owes you something, or that you can't create it, then you're looking at where you are right now, and then you're also comparing what you have to what you perceive other people to have.
Right.
And somehow, if they have it, it means that there's not enough to go around for me, because it must be finite. And
that's why I don't have it, and that's why they have it. It's because it's limited resources, right?
Right.
And that's the opposite of abundance thinking.
Right. So, I mean, like, that's I find myself, when I get stuck in the circumstances and deciding from there, it's a disguised version, frankly, of the world owes me something, or, something of that along those lines. And it was just really enlightening to me how often, being prided on living from vision, how often I was actually letting the circumstances of the situation that is right now dictate my mood, dictate my decision-making processes, dictate what I would pursue. And of course, there's levels, like you said, there's a spectrum for all of this. And the interesting thing for me is that I think I uncovered a whole nother level of it that really has made a profound impact on my life in a very, very, very positive way. Because, like, the freedom that you get the instant that you can acknowledge that you've been there, that you've been operating from that place, is, I can't describe it. The relief is instantaneous, because you're like, holy shit, I can do something about this.
Right. That's very, see, often for me, when I often have to really I feel like I have to tone this down most of the time. The way I put it in my life is that my imagination is often much more vivid than the physical reality around me. Like the input that I'm getting from my physical senses about the world is much more dull than the world that I have going on in my mind. And as a result, like a lot of times people in my personal life are just like, you're completely delusional. Like that's not, there's not possible. There's no way that can happen. This is not the situation we're in. It's a classic get your head out of the clouds moment. And I mean, that's been the case for me my entire life. But when you have other people in your life that you care about, that you want to have good relationships with, and you're probably going to be spending time with, whether it be a sibling or a parent or a partner or a child, right? Like, it's hard, for me, it's hard not to get mad at people when they're just like looking the reality in the face instead of letting their mind think about what could be.
Yeah, but that's the thing. When you get mad at them for whatever the thing is, now you're focused in the situation of what is, and you're not focused on your vision. You're not focused on your vivid world of imagination. And I know for me, and it's worth exploring. I would invite you to try this on for yourself, because what I've discovered is that I'm much the same way. It manifests differently, but my head is always in the clouds. I'm always thinking in terms of what I want to create and what I'm going to create, not out of limitations, but out of forward thinking.
Right.
And that can be a limitation in and of itself. That can be a crutch, because you spend so much time, like you said, that it's so vivid for you where it is that you imagine going, that you don't even have to go there anymore.
Right.
So you don't go there. And so to the outside world, you haven't manifested it, even though in your inner game, you have to some degree. You're on to the next thing, but so nobody can see what you're experiencing. And frankly, I don't believe that you fully experienced it until you bring it out of here and out of your heart and put it forth into the world, so that other people can see the full experience of what it is that you've called forth, really.
That's right.
And that was me. Like I had a ton of when I first met Kathy, when we were dating, I showed her banker boxes full of these different ideas and business projects. Some of them were like just in the incubation larvae stage of development. And some of them were like 90% done, but none of them were materialized in the world.
Right.
None of them.
Right.
But I mean, like literally I had probably 5+ of those banker boxes full of different notes and ideas and different business plans and and so but I was stuck in neutral,
right?
like I wasn't making the reality. And on one hand, it was very fulfilling to stay in the clouds and dream, but on the other hand, it wasn't fulfilling because I was crying wolf again. You know what I mean? Like I was telling everybody about all this vision that I vividly saw, and they're like, yeah, but what have you done lately? What have you created lately? And that there's an element of truth to that until you're actually putting something forth. Right. So anyway, it's just, I discovered that back in 1996. When I first met Kathy. Yeah. And I've been steadily working on it. But like I said, like in the last few weeks, I've uncovered layers of this that I didn't even know was, still unconsciously limiting me out of habit. And
right. Well, I mean, you've been talking about this here and there on like our morning positive focuses and stuff, but we haven't really had a good conversation about it yet. It's very
This is kind of it. I mean, I realize that every time I get angry at a situation. Yeah. It's because I'm focused on the situation. And it's not like it's not the circumstances, but if I focused in on instead of it being an automatic reaction, if I focused in on like when my trigger is to get pissed or get upset or get angry.
Sorry, I'm having a sound issue. One moment, please. One moment. Apologies, I was trying to close down some tabs, and you freaking Russell Brand starts talking to me about meditation. All right.
It was just that I now have seen that it was an excuse to it may be true, and it was true. Like the situation was the situation, but me getting mad at it or upset with it was an excuse to stay focused there.
Right.
And to stay in the situation,
right.
as opposed to using it. And as soon as I allowed that to be a conscious realization for me, I could let it go just like that. I mean, and the freedom, I'm telling you, like the visceral relief that I felt, that tightness in my chest, gone, like instantly. So the gift for me has been like, anytime I'm not feeling anything about a situation that I'm on autopilot and I'm not feeling like the automatic trigger isn't joy and empowered and feeling like, yes, let's go for it, then that's my cue that somehow my reaction is triggered that. And if I can let it in and allow it, that I can then truly let go of where I've been focused. And the focus is what's taking me off course.
Right.
It's not the situation. So.
Interesting. No, that's very true. That's very true. It's very meta.
I don't know what that means, but it resonates with me in a major way.
Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting. Some people still really suck, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No, it is interesting. So let's come back to the two entrepreneurial decisions. Maybe would you open that book up and repeat what they are to kind of bring our focus back to that for a second?
Sure. So, entrepreneurs distinguish and separate themselves from non-entrepreneurs by making two fundamental decisions. These can be made consciously or unconsciously. The first decision is to depend entirely on their own abilities for economic security. The second entrepreneurial decision is to expect opportunity in life only after creating value for others. These two decisions, when taken together, automatically liberate the entrepreneurial individual from political, economic, social, or bureaucratic ceilings of complexity that limit and diminish the lives of non-entrepreneurs. The future-based individuals achieve freedom from dependency. All dependencies, especially bureaucratic dependencies, limit an individual's ability to create a powerful future-based self. With this first decision, the entrepreneurial individual is saying, no one else has to support me. No one else has to take care of me. Having made this decision, he or she never again has to operate according to the procedures of a bureaucratic organization. And then the next major chunk was entrepreneurs achieve freedom from entitlement. The attitude of entitlement says, I am owed something by society, by government, by the company, by my family. This attitude imprisons the individual in a lifetime of unfulfilled expectations, grievances, and self-pity. And the results are further described in the next concept. By making this second decision, the entrepreneur says, I am owed nothing by anyone. Any opportunity I want must be created by providing something of value to others. As a result of this second decision, the entrepreneur's life becomes a never-ending process of learning, creating, and growing.
Awesome.
And, I mean, there's more before the next concept, but I mean, I think we've already captured it. Unless you want to
no, that's
go
really
deeper.
good. Yeah, Dan, guys, if you're not following Dan Sullivan, by the way, if you have never been involved with Strategic Coach or read any of his programs or listened to any of his audios or podcasts, please do. As an entrepreneur, he will dramatically expand your mind.
For sure.
Very, very, very smart. I have an interesting. Dan is very close to the same age as my dad, and he kind of dresses in a similar way, and he has just a lot of very similar characteristics, except he thinks completely differently. And so I love hanging out with Dan because I feel like I'm talking to my dad, and that my dad understands
with a different
my brain works with marketing. It's just like so it's really it's a fascinating guy to hang out with. Yeah, he's taught me a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. So yeah, definitely listen to Dan Sullivan stuff. So you want to keep on this topic, or you want to hop topics?
Yeah, let's hop topics. I mean, I think we've pretty much dived deep in that, and I think it can tie into where it was that you wanted to go very nicely. So we can certainly do that.
Cool. So check this out. And guys, if you're a Dan Sullivan or Strategic Coach fan, give him a shout out in the comments. And if you have any questions about any of the things that we're talking about, please hit us up. Let us know. Or anything you really like that we're talking about that you want to hear us go into more detail on in a future live stream, or even in this one if it comes in live, please, by all means, chime in. That'd be great. Yeah. So I was listening to this podcast.
Right.
And, this podcast, both, it's a great podcast. And the podcast hosts, as well as the person they were interviewing, are all they've all been marketing significantly fewer years than I have or you have, right? Like they're comparatively much younger. They're just, they're having this conversation. The guest is a blogger and copywriter and social media guy, and he had worked for a few different companies, including a company called Drift. And he was talking about Drift, and he's basically like, so Drift is a software company, and apparently, as the story goes, Drift built up a big audience. They started selling products, or they started selling software, and then after they had an audience, and then they had a big conference, and they were talking about how they pulled all that off. And he's just like, I think
very familiar.
Yeah, he's like, whatever company you have, whatever product you have, or whatever service you have, you're going to need to sell that. That's true, and you need to start making some money and generating sales, in order to grow your company and pay the bills and all these types of things. But the reality is that every company at this point needs to build their own media channel for their industry or business. You're really building your own media. Your own media company for that market. And
right.
You talked about the media factor, in the original NPOD course. And,
right.
And that's the whole idea is about building your list, building your audience, building your tribe. And, we talk about this stuff all the time and teach it, but I was like, this is interesting. And then I'd recently been thinking about what we've been working on, and I've been thinking about not what do I want to do next, but why am I doing what I'm doing right now? Why am I going back into internet marketing, email marketing guru land after being out of it for 10 years? Why am I doing that? Right. And I was like, well, and I had this idea a few evenings ago. I was like, I should simply republish all my old stuff. And if that means redoing but following the same curriculum, right? And I was like, these are the core foundational principles of I've built so many businesses on email marketing and list building in so many different niches, and trained and taught so many different people, and helped so many people in different lives, and created jobs all around this one idea. And I was like, but all my courses are basically gone now, right? They're like from 15 years ago, they're in a zip file somewhere, but they're not available online, and they weren't taught in a way to stand the test of time. And I was like, what if I republished all my old stuff as kind of a legacy, right? And we worked together, and you did a brilliant job of recreating the entire NPod process, and it was kind of a same idea. And so I was thinking about that in the back of my mind, and then I was like, what if we were to just plain do the biggest, best, most detailed, most amazing interview series ever on email marketing? Okay? Make it freaking awesome. And I was like, who would we interview?
Right.
And so my thought was, there are a lot of people. Like, if we were to interview, sure, and like not only do a great content series, but do a really great webinar for each one as well, right?
Yeah, like the Summit series, or the List Crusade model.
Exactly, and that's what came to me. That I was like, am I thinking about redoing List Crusade? I'm like, maybe I am,
with a different twist to it. Yeah,
right. And so and then I was like, how will we go about making a successful viral summit, right? Using viral loops or something like that, right? Like how, and have the psychology be tight, right?
Right.
And so I was thinking maybe, and I like
and create value for everybody through the process.
Ginormous, yeah. And so, but not have it be so complex that it would just fall apart. And then I was thinking, I was like, okay, well, is this the kind of thing I should do by myself, or is this the kind of thing that Joshua and I should team up on? I don't know. And we had been talking about this like on Friday, I think. And I'm like, I suck at just doing stuff by myself. Like just
I think it fits into what we've been building with the ETG stuff, and I think it fits perfectly with that.
Yeah, I do too. And so, so you want to do a little brainstorm on who would? So it's cool that you were talking about the entrepreneurial questions, because if nothing else, if we're going to be interviewing people and working with people, we want them to definitely fit those two criteria in terms of their personality. Sure. But any successful email entrepreneur, is going to, embrace a lot of those, if not both of those characteristics.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, either consciously or unconsciously, there's, I mean, show me anybody that's had a more than a one-hit wonder type, hit. Yeah. And it has to be based on, if you engineered any kind of a success more than once or twice, then it has to be based on those two fundamental ideas.
That's right.
It just, I don't see how there's a way around it. I mean, you can sure you can do it accidentally, or you can partner with people that and use them and let them do all the work. That's going to spread fast. You're not going to be able to do that more than once or twice, right? And so like, I don't know how it doesn't encompass all that. So, and as I was thinking about like what you were just saying, like so many different people that are probably not known in the wider circles that I would love to have be a guest.
So do you want to, so here's the trick, right? With summits, and this is kind of like the reinvention of the summit model, is there's content summits where they're all content and there's no pitches, which is great for creating super good content, right? But it's not great to get to build a giant list. It's not great to build a huge audience, because who's going to promote it? And are they just promoting it for affiliate commissions?
Right.
And if they're just promoting it for affiliate commissions, then guess what? Now you have to run a whole launch.
No, it's got to be a form of arbitrage or alchemy to it, so that you take what they already have, plus it through the system, and turn it back to them improved. That's
Right.
kind of like what I ended up doing accidentally with Don't Shoot the Guru Yet when I launched that.
I don't remember them all.
Unbeknownst to me, like when people were promoting it, the side benefit, the tangential benefit that ended up happening was that the current return rates of the partners that were promoting it on their own products went down. The satisfaction was because what ended up happening is that the way that I positioned Don't Shoot the Guru Yet was like how to take the products that you have sitting on your hard drive and on your on your shelves that have been collecting either digital dust or real dust, how to dust them off and how to actually leverage them, how to capitalize on them and get to work on them. And that's what the whole Don't Shoot the Guru training was about. And yes, in the process, it sold my stuff, but like tangentially, it re-engaged everybody, so that not only were they getting commissions on what I was selling through my sales and marketing funnels, but they were actually improving. So what I was feeding back to them was lower returns and increased responsiveness, because the act of actually marketing to them improved the relationship, and because it was them that referred them to me. And I wasn't, in the early stages, I wasn't selling, or I wasn't harping on like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. Right. It was like how to be actionable on the stuff that you already have. Right. And what I was selling was more tools to help them get into action on the stuff that they already own. And so it, that's what ended up selling people into the 2 Comma Club and then into Income for Life and into NPod, but as add-ons, as pluses to it. Right. And but the hidden benefits were out of this world for the people promoting it, and I didn't know that was what was going to happen. I was just looking for a way to build something that would be fun, that would give value to the people coming in, and also would, be able to sell some stuff and, make commissions for everybody. That's right.
Yeah, no, when you really connect on a deep level, not only once, but, in a systematic way with your prospects and with your customers, that's the advantage, right? Especially if they not only love the products and services, but they turn around and use them and make money with them and their life improves. It gets better for everyone, right?
Yeah, if you can take something that you purchased that you're like, oh yeah, I got that sitting on my hard drive somewhere, and it now all of a sudden it strikes a chord with you, and you can get results with it and feel good about that purchase. Right. Not only does it do good things for the person that sold it to you, it does good things for the psyche of that person that now is getting some momentum, some excitement, some confidence is now building.
Yeah. I totally agree. Interesting. So let's talk about spreading the word. So functionally, setting up a summit model with a viral link is cake, right? You plug in the software and it blinks on the thank you page and it automatically gets emailed to them. There's no, don't have to hire a programmer for that anymore. Whew. But psychologically, if people were maybe the interview series itself is positioned as a contest somehow, or right is what?
Yeah. how does that, do we have, ooh, what if we had everybody that's participating in the summit donate a um a a prize of their best shit, whatever that their best value-based stuff that they're selling for whatever, $5,000 or whatever. Everybody donates it, and then we have these series of prizes that go across the spectrum, not just with one expert's brilliance, but across the spectrum of all of them. And there's, like, if the student should so happen to purchase one of the programs and they also win one of the programs, then they get their money refunded.
Interesting. I wasn't thinking about the refunded part. I would hesitate to have them put the program that they're selling in the summit. I would hesitate to have them put that.
Yeah, I mean, there's
a
a couple different ways that it could go, but like I was just thinking, like if we wanted to make it like the best of the best, and that they're getting something of true value, and yes, I'm selling it, and so like if you want to enroll in this, great, and if you should so happen to be the one that wins, but there's like only one winner for each of the grand prizes, right?
Right. So that would be So that type of a giveaway would be a lottery style giveaway, right? Where every point you get is a ticket in the lottery, and then we do a randomized giveaway. So that like an auction, kind of like an auction a little bit. But yeah, it would be a raffle.
What about a scholarship? Would that work? Like a certain levels of scholarship or like gift certificates?
It would. So that way, hey, Gene, how's it going? That's interesting.
What's happening, Gene?
So what we'd be doing is we'd be doing an email marketing raffle where people would be raffling off their stuff, right? And they would get to choose how many they're raffling and so on. We may or may not be able to do a hybrid model where people also get prizes as they generate more referrals. I don't know. I don't know if you can do both the raffle and the tiered.
What if there were two tiers to it? Like they have to do a certain amount of like referrals or whatever to be able to enter into
the raffle,
the big pot.
We could, but then the raffle wouldn't actually be randomized and done by the software. It would be like we put all their names in a hat and pull one out of the hat, which we can do that. That'd be funny, but it wouldn't be automated. And well, that's the other thing is I'm, do we want it to be a fully automated system that we can drive traffic into for a long time, or
Let me ask you a question. Is there a way to layer in the like the people promoting it so that that they want to do their best to get more people into the system, because the more that they get into the system, the more exposure or the higher up the list that they get on their products and services or something? Like, is there a way to make a leaderboard out of the joint venture summit partners?
So there's always a way, but that not ready to go. There's been giveaway software for a decade and a half, maybe more, where basically everybody, all the promotional partners, throw their giveaway in, and you put your image and your title and your description, and the link to where people go to access the giveaway. And the more referrals you generate, right, the higher your giveaway ends up showing up on the leaderboard when people opt in for the giveaway. On the thank you page, if you're the number one referrer, you're the first gift, right? And that works, but it's pretty antiquated, and it just tends to attract super freebie oriented people, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to cheat. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, you don't have to convince me on
Yeah, I know.
incentive based marketing. Being hard to convert and create it. I mean, it's good news, bad news, right?
Right, right, right.
But yeah, so I'm all for having it be like value for value and make sure that whatever we do in the viral contest, only appeals to the people that we want to attract.
That we really want. Yeah.
Yeah, and B, doesn't turn them into coupon shoppers.
Right, right, right. Well, you want to brainstorm a list of people that we want to interview?
Sure.
Great. I'm going to type this list into Facebook. And
Okay.
I noticed something on Facebook today.
What's
in
that?
the group, I don't know if I haven't looked on my page, but in the group there is, and I don't think I changed this setting on my end, but I'm seeing a lower third auto dictation closed captions showing up as we're talking live. Maybe it's because the video is muted in the group. As I'm looking at it, it's muted because I don't want to be creating feedback. Maybe this is a new Facebook feature that automatically
Captions
everything. Yeah.
How good is it?
It's pretty good. I mean, it's
awesome.
captioning what we just said, a minute or 30 seconds ago, and yeah, it's cool. All right, so if we're going to do a big interview series on the smartest email marketers alive, and we were going to be able to get, using our personal connections and people we've done business with in the past, I think would be wise. Like Dan Sullivan, even though he's not, like email marketing isn't his number one thing by any stretch of the imagination.
No, but I mean, I don't know that it behooves us to limit it just to the usual online experts.
It may not. It may not. It depends on what we're going for, right?
Jean says that she's watching on my profile and that the closed caption is there.
Oh, cool. Interesting.
So it must be a new feature. That's new, Jean, right?
Interesting. Hey, maybe it's something that Restream is doing too. I'm not sure, but I bet it's Facebook. Okay, so who should we talk about?
Yeah, there's a setting, and I can just turn it on. All right.
Cool.
Yeah. There's a setting that I clicked on. It says auto generate captions.
Where is it?
I loaded up the one from my page and expanded it to the full view.
Oh yeah.
While we're live, and then the little gear at the bottom of the page
on Facebook
says settings.
Okay.
Yeah, on Facebook.
Yeah.
The little gear, and then it says auto generate captions on. And mine was turned off.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Interesting. I guess that's a new thing with the new Facebook update that happened, or something.
Neat.
Awesome. Hey, look at this. Look who's trying to call me.
Yannick Silver, no kidding. Well, he's definitely somebody that I'd love to talk to him, and is just a brilliant kind of guy, and talk about creating value in the world. Man, it would be awesome to have him on the list for sure.
Okay, great. Well, I don't think Yannick's in this group because he doesn't join. Oh, maybe he is in the group. He is in the group. Okay, Yannick Silver. Who else?
Sean Casey.
Yep.
Matt Gill. I don't know what Kevin Wilkie's doing these days, but he's a brilliant strategist and thinker. So there's Wilkie.
Hold on. Slow down a second.
Okay.
I have to. I'm getting lag here, and I want to capture these. So just give me a sec. Ugh. Come on, stop lagging. Okay. So let me see. Where were we? We're on Facebook and we're typing in people's names. Okay. Great. We've got Sean Casey. Oh, come on. The world, the internet is not cooperating with me right now.
No, huh?
Damn that internet! It's all its fault. It's always and the Comcast. They're ripping me off. My internet's slower than it should be. Bastards. And all these other people they're all homeschooling their kids and they're using up all my internet. They're not even running a business.
They suck.
They all suck. Nothing's fair. Everybody owes me. That's right, Russell Brand. Don't you start talking again. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to solve this problem in a different way. And the way I'm going to solve it is I'm just going to, instead of putting them on Facebook like I wanted to, I'm going to put them here. And then we can do a separate video all about this. And I will, and we can tag the bejesus out of people in that video. And who knows, maybe that video will be like the video that we are announcing what we're doing or something.
Cool.
Okay, so we said Yannick Silver, because he decided to call me while we were live streaming, and he's awesome. And there are
no accidents.
What's that?
And there are no accidents.
There are no accidents, except when I make. I don't know. Like, I definitely have accidents from time to time. I was actually noticing just as we started the live stream, I had this little burn on my thumb, and I was like, I've been getting bitten, burned, like splinters, like these little tiny pain in the butt like things a lot lately. Very obnoxious. The world's out to get me. World's out to get me. Yannick Silver, Sean Casey. And then you said,
where are you putting them now?
I'm putting them on a notepad that can't lag.
Okay.
Matt
Sean
Gill,
Casey, Matt Gill, Kevin Wilkie. What about Dan Kushel, of course. Joe Polish. I just opened up.
Dan Sullivan in there. Because
Dan Sullivan,
super genius. We should put Rich Sheffrin
for sure. Laura Belgray she just cracks me up. I opened up her site just to figure out how to spell her last name. And she's got a site called talkingshrimp.com, which is... Yeah, you
recommended it to me.
Yeah. And so I opened up at random to an article on her blog, and she said, how I motivated my lazy ass to the 1 million mark, a timeline.
Nice.
How brilliant is that?
It's great. I put down Ben Settle, even though he never gets on video, but maybe I can convince him. And another one who's very hard to like pull out of the shell is Andre.
Andre, and with him and Sean Twing, what they're doing now with their the way that they're launching and relaunching and doing they're in the middle of another launch for the last opening of their 3 staple products right now. And so like there might be an opportunity there with them, given that they seem to be exploring new territories.
Cool. I think it's that Andre just doesn't like doing interviews. I've asked him to do interviews a few times, and he's like, "I'll do a written one." It's like,
well, they both prefer text, but like the traffic engine course that I'm a student of, they had hot seats and look over your shoulder videos that went with it. Oh, cool. and Andre played host to the Q&A calls. And granted he wasn't on the hot seat, but I think that when there is a topic that he feels passionate about, that he wants to bring clarity to, I'm sure that he would anyway. Not to get so far off on a tangent there. Do you have Laura Belgray down?
I do. I put Laura Belgray, Ben Settle, Andre Chaperone.
The woman that Brooke. I'm trying to remember Brooke's last name. She runs the Life Coach School, and she built she went from just barely able to break the 1 million a year mark, and inside of 3 years, she grew from 1 million to over 15 million, and now she's close to 25 million a year, and that was all since 2015. And all in life coaching. And she's a follower student of Andre's, as well as Frank Kern's in the early days. And apparently she just has a brand new site. I don't know if you've seen this, but entrepreneurialaccounting.com. Check it out, because
what's your name again?
Brooke, trying to remember her last name, the Life Coach School. Brooke, I'll tell you in just a second. Brooke Costello.
Cool. All right. There's one guy, I should remember his name. I'm embarrassed that I don't. I don't think you know his name. He's a newer guy. So I put Jay Abraham down, of course. Matt Basak, Dean Jackson. I put down Travis Ketchum because Travis has a really great email platform and knows a lot about deliverability.
And he's also knows a lot about contests and the contest models, because before he built out Campaign Refinery, he built out Contest Domination.
Yeah, I use that for
which
years.
is still an excellent platform to this day.
Mm-hmm. John Benson, creator of the VSL.
Oh yeah.
Kurt Molly.
Matt. Kurt. I was just because him and John are doing this launch now.
Yep. I put down Perry Belcher.
Yes. And Ryan Dice.
Yep.
There was somebody else that jumped to mind. Do we want to go off the beaten path a bit and like people that are not just teaching the stuff, but actually like their primary business is building it and using the principles, like somebody like Perry Marshall?
I would say that ideally.
Two names just jumped into my head. Paul. I'm blanking on his last name. Paul. He runs talk radio or something.com.
Again?
Paul Myers. Paul Myers.
Okay.
Paul Myers.
I haven't heard his name in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't either. Well, of course, how can we not have Mark Joyner on the list?
Of course.
Oh, Gene put in Armin Morin, but I think you already captured him.
I didn't. I've already captured him in the cage downstairs. Let's put Alex Mandosian in.
Oh yeah,
This is a good
for sure.
And so in particular, like most of these people, I have most of these people's cell phone numbers, you know? And so like if we want like if we wanted to get something going quickly, when I think about the whole contest, I think we have to come up with a rolling contest. I think this isn't going to work for a launch because it's going to be too short notice. And
Okay.
so we can put it, so when we think about how we should do the contest, let's think about, ideally we want everyone we interview to promote it. Now, after we do the series, we can always keep doing interviews.
Right.
Right? But I think we want to front load it with people who have lists and followings that are going to be interested in bettering their email marketing.
Oh, what about Thompson, Kevin Thompson?
Sure.
I think also there's benefit in pursuing some of the personal development people as well.
I just had an interesting idea. Maybe it would be too complex. I was thinking about interviewing all the autoresponder owners, CEOs.
Ooh.
But then I was like, maybe that's its own thing. I don't know. Getting those guys to promote an event that's going to promote other people's autoresponders, it's going to be a hard sell.
For sure. But if you talk to them about the like email deliverability and things that they know about, and you know, that like the credibility score and blacklisting and whitelisting IPs, and I mean that's stuff that I think people take for granted that comes along with a good autoresponder system service.
Right. That's right. That's true.
And then there's just different, I mean, like people that use ConvertKit are very different. Like they have different businesses than people that are using Drip. And it's not like they're even in competition with each other. I mean, even though they're both autoresponder services, but there's a very different set of tools and the way that each is positioned in the marketplace. And as is with Get Response and Aweber and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I don't think we get it in terms of just autoresponder services, but get them to talk about the key subjects that, you know, are critical to understanding, and indirectly now they are selling, because sign up for a good autoresponder service and you don't have to worry about any of this because we do it for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So here's part of it.
Tom Bell.
Got it. There's so many more people. I put down Ryan Dice.
Go through our contacts.
Yeah, I know. It's yeah. So this is a pretty good lineup, and
I think we need some more estrogen in there, man.
We definitely do, and
is Janet and Chris Atwood and Liz Thompson and Rick Thompson are they, I don't know if they're still active.
Oh, they're still active. But
Janet Atwood.
But I haven't talked to Chris or Janet at all. I don't think they're doing anything in that space at all. But
okay.
Rick and Liz, their personal development company is large. But they're not doing any like marketing training or anything. So I do want to stay focused on people who have a following that is going to be interested in the topic, and have the ability to promote something in theory, right? Like we want people who have the ability to spread the word, and then we want to motivate them to spread the word. And so,
okay.
And that is actually a little trick question, is that if we're going to build a viral campaign into this thing, which I think would be great, we also, I think, need to build a red hot sales process into it to earn the affiliates a lot of commissions when they promote it.
Right.
so that it is highly lucrative for them to promote right out of the gate before their interview happens, right? So if we can manage to have it be both viral and have a lucrative funnel on one hit like that, that'll be a hot funnel. That'll be really good.
Sure.
But I don't think we're going to solve that on this call.
No,
we're making
but
progress.
thinking about it is important, obviously.
Yeah. I got Kylie Slivek. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. She's a brilliant storyteller, an email storyteller.
Oh, cool.
And
I'm not familiar with her.
Yeah, she's been she kind of built a fairly small guru business for a while, and then she just took on a couple of private clients, and she's kind of in regrowth mode. But yeah, she's done a few cool things.
Marie. Marie. Now I'm blanking on her last name. Laura Belgray was her copywriter for years.
Marie Forleo.
Yes.
She is like huge now, isn't she? Like, she's like become a celebrity, like a legit celebrity.
Yeah. Well, like Oprah.
Not a direct response celebrity, but like.
Well, I mean, she's interviewed with, I believe, Oprah, and she's interviewed Pressfield, Stephen Pressfield, and people like that. So yeah, she's definitely crossed the chasm, so to speak.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this is a great list to get us started. And I don't know. Maybe we should. What are you doing right now after we finish this live stream?
I gotta run to something, but I can make some time at about an hour and a half from now, if that works.
That doesn't work so well for me. So that's cool. Whatever. Why don't you just try texting me when you're free? We'll see if we can pick up the conversation later today.
Sounds good.
Tomorrow. But I mean, basically taking this list, tripling it, and then like getting on the phone with all these people, even if it's not appropriate for an interview or to have them be involved, is going to create an enormous amount of momentum.
I agree.
Yeah. Nice. All right. This was a great live stream.
Man.
Super good live stream.
Well, we've enjoyed it, and it's been useful to us.
That's right.
I don't know how useful. Well, anybody that actually, eavesdrops in and is a fly on the wall, I think they'll get value out of it because it's inside baseball, so to speak.
Right. Hey, am I laggy for you, or is that just on my?
You froze at certain points in time. Your picture froze, but you haven't been laggy for the last little bit.
Interesting. I wonder what the heck's going on with that. I don't know. All right. Cool. Well, we'll talk to you soon. Hope you have a great afternoon, everybody.
Take care.
Party like it's 1769.
Woohoo!
Right. Bye. Toodaloo.